Welcome to Willow Springs, race fans, and welcome back to the Deviant Racing GT3 World Challenge, brought to you here by Webbo. And we are getting ready for qualifying at the fantastic, if incredibly difficult, sandy and slippery Big Willow configuration of Willow Springs. Can't wait to get underway for you, and by way of a little preview and courtesy of Mercury, it is round 2 this weekend. It is the fabled Willow Springs. Close racing has been going on here for decades, and many legends have made their mark at this track. We'll be running here at twilight with the setting sun, although I have been asked to turn up the exposure so we can make the best evaluation of these fantastic new liveries for today. Sand is unforgiving and is going to cost drivers for mistakes. In the GT3 here today, Camzilla leads after his win at Blue Moon Bay, but Chaotica is nipping at his heels with Dirksy in 3rd position. For the teams, the first team at the top of the list is Team Spotify, followed by Team Special K, Zin in a 3-way tie with Puma, and Mountain Dew. Should be an exciting weekend, and we don't want to miss anything. Can't wait to get underway. If you're joining us live, do say hello and tell me who you're here to support. And if you're seeing anything interesting on track that I'm not commenting on, then do shout up. Be part of today's broadcast if you possibly can. As we head out of turn 1 and into the incredibly long turn 2, on board with 2nd place in the championship, Chaotica. The reason I'm on with him is I didn't see Camzilla, but Camzilla has joined us. So down towards the tight and twisty uphill turn 3, before what is a decreasing radius corner of turn 4. I'm going to call it one continuous turn, and then we go right, left and right again for 5, 6 and 7, before really there is only really 1/8 corner to speak of, but it is one hell of a corner, the final corner at Big Willow configuration here for Chaotica. So qualifying is underway for us. Do say hello if you are listening and watching live. I haven't heard this safety car lap just yet, so I'm hoping to get that as Nismo sets an early lap ahead of Zen and Berman with Chaotica out there in the 4th position. Don't Need Time is 5th at the moment on track. I think, yeah, just hanging around offline right now, as Camzilla has got a 1:13.3, but the fastest lap is Nismo on a 1:11.822. He's got Chaotica in front of him as Camzilla, and will probably hurt through the faster corners. Anatol telling me the safety car will be announced after quali. That's great to hear. Thanks, Anatol. Just to stop anybody taking too many liberties with their strategic options. Of course, it'll be soft tyres on board everybody for this qualifying session. Love it, Anatol. If you just give me a quick reminder, it's 10 minutes quali, or is it 15 minutes quali? I'm afraid the different leagues I've done have left me a little bit confused. Rudy is here to cheer on Team Spotify as Chaotica kicks up the dirt into championship rival Camzilla's face, but Camzilla, undeterred, goes into 3rd position, just almost 6/10 away from Nismo's top time. We'll join Zen on board next. Anatol, thank you so much for 10-minute quali notification. You can see some sections of this racetrack, the sand erosion on the exit or entry of the corners is almost a sheer drop off the tarmac asphalt, and the drivers can ground out, and if you suffer it understeer through either turn 2 or turn 8, it is incredibly hard to get back again. This track rewards a lot of practice time, a lot of patience, finding the limit and finding when you can apply the throttle mid-corner, because it really is very, very difficult. The lack of reference points and these long looping corners to just catch you out. Zen is only 1/10 of a second away from Nismo's lead time here. Dutchman Nismo leading 7 US drivers. And now we get into that turn 8. And it's all about just hooking the car up. Don't touch the apex too much. And wait for that car to grip in. And you can see the exit and ahead of you. Zen, no faster on this lap. That was an outlap. Where is Nismo right now? He is out of turn 1. He's got a car in front of him. Traditional 3-sector racetrack with a big willow configuration here. As we can see, the stars starting to emerge in the sky. It will be into full-on sunset into almost full dark conditions here. As we have the exposure turned up, the drivers, I'm sure, will have made that manual adjustment. Nismo looking pretty good at the moment. A little touch onto the apex curb through turn 7. Now it is flat out until the latter third, really, of turn 8. Still see that white bar to the right of the rev counter. And now we can start to wind the gears down. 5th gear, little stab of throttle. Right on the ragged edge of performance there was Nismo, just hanging on to the grip. No improvement from him. Zen, though, does improve up to a 1:11.692 by 1/10 of a second. Tremendous. Let's check out S. Berman and see what he can do. Now he's run a slower outlap, and he'll be hoping to try and get this one, and that's a personal best sector. Might have lost a little bit on exit of turn 2, where we're going to see any overtaking today. We'll see some side-by-side action, and there you have just that difficulty putting one wheel off the track, really upsetting the cars a lot. Huge oversteer in the mid-chicane there for S. Berman. I imagine he's about to cross the timing beam. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. Well, it's over a second to his best time through on the way out of turn 7, so it's not going to be a special lap there from Berman. Zen leads Nismo. Camzilla in 3rd is in the pits with 2.5 minutes to go. You need to get out of the pits and find some room on this racetrack for a hot lap. Here is Chaotica racing in the all-pink Iron Lynx livery today. There ahead you see the chevrons for the penalty times later on in the race. I don't think the drivers will be worrying about that too much right now, but Chaotica no faster on that lap, unfortunately for him. Reigning champ Glovas. Let's check out Glovas with the fluorescent yellow gloves and the deep-throated Chevy Corvette engine here. Notably different to the cars we've been driving in alongside Badrock Jones. Sets a new personal best time at the moment, down outside of the top 10 though. Zen Nismo, Camzilla. Cam is now out of the pits. We'll join him momentarily. Let's check out Glovas into 6th position now. Personal best time from him. Here then is Camzilla. This looks like the outlap, so no change for him coming. As we have Zen on a purple time. 0.05 of a second up through the first sectors. A little bit of traffic ahead. He'll be hoping that they are not too far away from him on pace, but they're starting to distract him here already. I'm sure he'll be laser focused on his braking reference points and his apexes. The car getting really unloaded out of turn 7. You need to be careful on your throttle application, low grip conditions. 1.5 tenths now. He's gaining through the second sector of the racetrack. With just less than a minute on the clock here for Zen. This is the one that's going to count for him. As Anatol says, he's killing it now, absolutely. Right on the edge on the way out of the corner. That was just about perfect. Possibly a distant toe off the cars in front, and he's faster still, nearly 1/4 of a second faster there from Zen, up to a 1:11.471. We'll ride with Nismo, the nearest competitor at this stage. He's on his fast lap now. The checkered flag about to fall in 5 seconds time, so he will not set a better time. That's another fastest first sector then, this time for Nismo. Tremendous competition here as he's winding through a slower corner. Let's just check out Camzilla. Where is Cam? On his second sector, he's miles away. He's half a second away. It's not going to be any better for Cam. It could be Nismo versus Zen then for that pole position, about to find out his second sector, and it's another purple time. It's a purple time by only 0.03 of a second here for Nismo. Two great drivers, great rivals, one pitted, one against the other and against the clock as the sun is setting in the distance. One car off the circuit, that's gonna hurt Nismo. Did that affect his grip on the exit of the corner, or did it just take his attention away? Not enough. It's a 1.5 tenths of a second. Nismo grabs that pole position at 1:11.308. What a time from Nismo at the end, leaving it to the very last moment and over the edge of that final corner and into the pit lane entry. Even here comes Don't Need Time from 5th place. Any improvement coming from him? It is an improvement, but he stays 5th, and in fact Glovas goes 5th. So let's check out where is Preston right now. Preston going slow at the end. Chaotica, a poor qualifying for Chaotica standards in 9th. Dirksey and Comma Copa in 11th. With Mercury, Badrock Jones, Arcane will be driving our safety car today. But it is all about Nismo out there. Nismo grabbing that all-important pole position and the lead into turn 1 for our race to come. 9 laps is what they managed. Anatol's happy about that one, and Kuros, guys, there's another last-minute pole thief from Nismo. That was tremendous at the end. S. Berman may have set that time on medium tyres, and it does look like the softs are scrubbing away very quickly here at Willow Springs. So drivers getting ready then to prepare themselves for a race start soon to come, and we'll get you those qualifying full results in just a few moments time. Nismo with the pole position in the Team Spotify black and green, with Zen in that second position off circuit. We've got Camzilla racing the Mazda today for in the blue and slightly green colour. That's Chaotica in the Iron Links pink. I should really talk to you about the championship positions, shouldn't I? So let's take that in just a second once we go through. Nismo with a 1:11.3 leads out Zen and Camzilla, with Berman, Glovas and Don't Need Time up to 6th position. Floody and Preston are on row 4, with Chaotica in 9th, Dirksey in 10th, Comma Copa in 11th, racing with the VR system, as you can see. Then Mercury, and at the back of the grid, Badrock Jones, who is subbing in for Booze in the Team Puma. The Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat safety car will be driven by Arcane today, and will be underway for you any minute for the race. But Camzilla leads the championship after just 1 round, but it is only a 7-round championship this season. 3.3. Chaotix in second with 15 points. Dirksey on 13. Nismo in 4th place on 11, with reigning champ M. Glovas only in 5th place with 10 points. Zen, Preston, Booze. Zanshin is level on 8th because he scored a fastest lap previous round, with Comacopa and Floody below the relegation line. Currently Mercury, Don't Need Time and T. Deeds, who I don't think has been able to feature just yet. Let's try and get this race organised for you. Okay, it's time to go racing then for 1 hour around Big Willow in round 2. It's drop the clutch and go, go, go. It looks like Don't Need Time was out of position there. Nismo in 2nd position has managed to get the lead on the outside edge of the circuit and managing to hold on there. A very short run down to turn 1, and now we're going to go into turn 2. Camzilla holding on in 3rd ahead of teammate Berman in 4th position. We've got several cars trying to find a way through and trying to find an overlap, with Glovas in 5th and Don't Need Time in 6th. Then Preston and Chaotica make out the top 8. But at the moment, very cagey start for the drivers. Lots of different tyre strategies on option here. Looks like Berman struggling a little bit on the medium tyres, but not perhaps as much as M. Glovas in the car behind him, who has started on the hard tyres and definitely struggling here in Team Mountain Dew Pitch Black today presentation for the cars. And you can see headlights ablaze for the drivers. Medium tyres on the top runs, but it's Zen who starts on the hards alongside Nismo, both selecting the hards, taking advantage of their better qualifying positions here, but Nismo leading away. And I think at this early stage, Zen and Nismo will just hope to not get caught up in anybody else's race or problems. Filing through then, they go through to the end of lap 1. Nismo's lead 0.4 of a second ahead of Zen, whose lead is identical ahead of Camzilla. And then there's a little gap starting to show, with Camzilla now wanting, of course, to make use of these medium tyres at this early phase of the race. Full tanks of fuel on board the cars at the early stage here, and Camzilla already with a fastest first sector, clearly wanting to get a move on. That certainly that looked like Nismo kicking up the dirt and dust as Camzilla's trying to find a way past Zen and not be held up too much at this early stage. S. Berman and Camzilla very keen to get underway here on the medium tyres and get past their hard tyre shod rivals in front, while there is a small tyre advantage in terms of traction, grip and mid-corner grip as well. Camzilla absolutely flying. He's going to have to go the long way around the outside here. Zen driving to the apex and holding the middle lane here. He goes a little bit defensive to the inside. Camzilla using his line as a guide, should get a good exit out of turn 8, the final corner. And now a cavernous lead starting to develop for the top 4. Nismo, Zen, Camzilla and Berman all in a line, with Glovas, reigning champ, in 5th position and Chaotica in 6th. Dirksey down in 7th and Floody in 8th. Beyond that, we've got Don't Need Time and Mercury in 9th and 10th. Copa in 11th, Badrock Jones and Preston down at the back of the grid. Looks like Preston having problems at the early stage of the race because Badrock Jones was at the very back of the grid. Let's go back then to our bid for the win and the podium positions at this stage. Absolutely stunning trackside camera shots here as we've got early part of lap 3 to show you. Let's enjoy the liveries while we can. Zen has got those tyres switched on now and setting a purple middle sector of the racetrack. I didn't catch the safety car announcement. If Anatol's there with us or anybody did catch it, please let me know the safety car lap, and that will tell you when they cannot pit as well. And you can already see almost half a lap field spread there, just underlining the problem that our rearmost driver had. Kuroskai, lap 17, thank you, deep into our race, as just heading almost off the circuit go our leaders, pushing incredibly hard here to try and keep themselves in a great position for later in the race. Camzilla hasn't been able to launch a move. I'm not sure where the overtaking positions are going to come here without some sort of mistake from the car in front. Cam going very wide into turn 4 here to try and get the better exit, but it's only a short run into turn 5, through 6 now and out over the crest of turn 7. Nismo unworried about the gap behind him, which is nearly 0.7 of a second now, but Zen, I think, is going to start just making sure that he keeps an eye on where Camzilla currently lies. Camzilla leading the championship right now after a very successful round 1. The gap back from Berman in 4th on the medium tyres to Glovas in 5th on the hards is enormous. It's now 3.4 seconds on lap 4 only, but look at the tyre degradation on Glovas' front left. It is pretty high considering he's racing the medium tyres. Contrast that with our leaders, who have been able to drive with a little bit of margin at this stage. I think haven't been hurting those tyres too greatly And there's Camzilla off the circuit. Camzilla, and the big problem here is how easy it is to head a long way off the circuit. Here we are heading into turn 2. Is this a simple misjudgment? Off we go, and there is just no regathering the car. Camzilla finding a whole new circuit configuration underneath the hot air balloons there as we round the corners. So a big deficit, and he's dropped down from 3rd position to 11th has Cam, and he's also probably damaged those medium tyres no end. So the four-way battle at the front of the field is down to just 3 as S. Berman caught a little bit out from Camzilla's departure. And there another spin then from S. Berman, unfortunately, and that was just the exit of turn 8, and it's too late to head into the pits. So S. Berman, he's going to lose many more places regathering this one. I don't think we need to necessarily see that all over again because we just watched it in real time. So now he's down to, it's going to be 9th position by the time he gets his turn in sorted, but he's still ahead of teammate. But that has absolutely ruined the strategy option for that team today, that they can only now regather and hope another accident comes. And there was Nismo almost making the same error, but towards the infield rather than the outfield part of the circuit. It's Zen chasing down Nismo and wondering if there's going to be a way through here, because he knows he's pushing Nismo pretty hard. We've seen 2 accidents, says Anatol, already. We have, and they've spilled off the circuit. Unforced errors, you have to say, at this stage from both drivers for the team. But unfortunately, that's just the way it goes sometimes, and this is a punishing race circuit, as Mercury wrote in the preview earlier on. Zen looks to have a really good run here, running on through down the start-finish straight and getting plenty of opportunity down. Kuroskai is saying plenty of time to add to the number of incidents here so far. Absolutely. But the front 2 looking very good at this stage. Don't really want to cut away from them, but I will do to see Glovas in 3rd, being chased by Chaotica. So Glovas for the Mountain Dew team, with the Iron Lynx livery on Chaotica's car today. Just half a second away, and taking a different line through turn 3 and into turn 4 is Chaotica. Great look at the matte pink effect there on the car today, looking very nice indeed. Dirkzee is in 5th place, and leading Don't Need Time and Mercury just behind on the medium tyre though, and I think the mediums are about to let go. Don't Need Time is going to head to the pits very soon, because that front left is being absolutely destroyed on the Avian Renault. Let's see if this is pit stop time after just 9 minutes of racing. The medium tyres have given up here for Don't Need Time. Will he pit? No, he's going to try and push for one more lap. And we see this time and time again in GT racing. The drivers just pushing those tyres just beyond what they can reasonably expect to get out of them. There is the Team Coca-Cola of Mercury in 7th, car 46 in the AMG. Behind him we have for Team Zin, S. Berman leading his teammate, who's dropped right down, who was 11th a minute ago. Here comes Mercury down the inside. Will we see an overtake? Because Don't Need Time had a problem with that front left, and there we have it. Perhaps it was time for the pit stop for Don't Need Time on the previous lap, because he's just lost that position with just Mercury having the better grip to the inside, and that's Don't Need Time off the circuit as well. Let's just try and catch that in every detail possible. So he's just been overtaken by Mercury, and it's this next time he tries to turn right on the exit of turn 4, exactly where we saw Cam go earlier. Far less spectacular there for Don't Need Time, but just symptomatic of taking that tyre too far indeed. We've got Badrock Jones is in 10th position right now with Camzilla. Oh, and there's Don't Need Time off the circuit again. Now Badrock Jones trying to overtake. Could have just done with being a little bit more patient, as Camzilla is about to come through past Badrock Jones, I think, having the much better run. He himself, front left, will be crying for mercy any moment. We'll expect him, don't need time, to fit the mandatory hard tyre shortly, but for car 20. He's now in 9th position on the humpback, but 22 seconds away from the head of the field. Preston's in 11th for Team Mountain Dew, and Floody out there in 13th place for the Porsches. He's now coming up to Don't Need Time, who has exited the pits, and he's gone back for a second set of mediums. Floody also on his second set of tyres. He's on medium tyres too. And at the front, it looks like Zen has managed to get past Nismo. I'll just have a quick check whether we can catch that in real time, in replay. Sadly not. But Nismo in second place now and losing out here. Out sometime between lap 8 and lap 10. Globus in the pits with Dirksey. That promotes Chaotica and Mercury up a position. Mercury about to scream past that side-on view of the start-finish line. Not many places to watch the race here at Big Willow. This is a driver's circuit, not really a spectator's circuit by the look of things. Maybe up here into the north side of the circuit. The elevation means that you should get a decent view wherever you are. Over the crest goes Zen, some 3 seconds ahead of Nismo by lap 10. Will things change though if Nismo decides to pit for tyres a little bit ahead and can preserve some more fuel? At the moment, it does look like Nismo is just running a little bit leaner here than Zen. Remember, every lap of fuel they save is a multiple seconds stationary in the pits to refuel. So it's very, very important here to win at the slowest possible speed, to quote the great Alain Prost. Zen leads Nismo. Chaotica is in 3rd place with Mercury in 4th. Mercury heading into the pits now, off the hard tyre, destroyed that front left, has Mercury. And now Dirksey in the Evian Renault Car 86, running in 6th position. Behind him we have reigning champ Globus coming through for Team Coca-Cola. We've got some good actions developing here. S. Berman is in 7th, just got out of the pits ahead of Mercury, but we've got Preston diving down the inside of Don't Need Time into turn 1, and he's holding on to that manoeuvre nicely as they head into the long, looping, highly cambered turn 2. Don't Need Time off the racing line at this stage, but getting good drive, and it's Preston on the defensive into turn 3. Don't Need Time trying to go the long way around the outside, find a sneaky route to the apex of turn 4 and manages it absolutely beautifully. So great retaliation there from Don't Need Time. Here we have riding on board as we head towards turn 3. And we just sneak into the apex on an early breaking point of turn 4. Beautiful manoeuvre there from Don't Need Time. So yes, he gave up the position into turn 1, but by the time they reached the halfway point of the circuit, he got it back. Floody's in 10th, Preston down to 11th now, because I think Floody managed a manoeuvre there to get through. Let's have a look. Oh, we just joined it slightly too late, but Floody taking advantage of that situation earlier on. Zen still leads Nismo with Chaotica now in 3rd position, but the real battle on the circuit right now, right in that midfield. It's Floody for Team Porsche, Team Puma Porsche I should say, are running in 10th position. Don't Need Time just 1 position ahead. Preston hoping to try and catch these two now where possible. Mercury ahead of them with S. Berman as well. Floody has the headlights, the yellow headlights ablaze on the Porsche, hoping to just indicate and show Don't Need Time where he is strong on the circuit. It's lap 12. We have had just over 15 minutes of racing. The first pit stops are nearly all complete. Chaotica has gone in. I don't think Zen and Nismo have been in just yet. So there may be the opportunity for drivers to just catch some track position here, having made the earlier pit stops than Zen and Nismo, who started, of course, on the hard tyre. And everybody starting on the full tank of fuel here. Chaotica in the pit lane, coming out of pit exit just behind Mercury, who will be pleased, Mercury, to just get himself ahead there and not be balked by a driver on colder tyres. Chaotica out off the first stint, out on the medium tyres, and a full tank of fuel as well to boot, which feels a little bit backward to me. Feels like you want to run the medium tyres with as little fuel in the tank as possible, make the best use of the high grip you get with the tyre, but of course every pit stop will result in additional fuel being put in, bar possibly the final one. It's all about, though, your minimum total race time, of course. Nismo and Zen in the pits together on the circuit as they refuel. It looks like Zen has short fueled the car in order to come out ahead of Nismo. That could be decisive. That's 5% less fuel fitted to the car for Zen than it was for Nismo, who exited on 98% fuel. Both of them not absolutely brimming the tank, but the gap out now to 4.2 seconds. So Zen stopped before Nismo. Zen also stopped for less fuel as well, to the tune of about a second, as Glovas in third place. Think yet to pit. He's performing an absolute miracle on that front left tyre, on the medium tyre here for Glovas. And he is 13.9 seconds away from the head of the field, where Zen currently is leading us. In fourth position, less than a second away from Glovas, we have Dirksey in the Evian Renault. And in fifth, S. Berman on the recovery. Was fighting around third position at the start of the race, but a minor off-track excursion put him down the order. So Dirksey is 15 seconds away from the lead. Berman some 16 seconds further, and not further, but away from the lead himself. Just catching these two as Glovas finally now pits, and that will drop him, of course, down at the order. Dirksey promoted to third. Berman back where he was before in fourth place, but some distance away from the two drivers at the head of our field, and the gap between the two stabilising between 4 and 5 seconds. Down into the battle for fifth position, led by Mercury, and Chaotica now in that sixth place, running the medium tyre. Donny Time is in seventh, and Floody just behind him for a four-way battle for fifth place. As that was Chaotica picking up a fastest first sector on relatively new mediums, but not brand new mediums by any stretch of the imagination. Once again, brilliant drone shots here. I want to say drone shots anyway, unless they're on the mother of all boom camera rigs. Here comes Chaotica, having a look down the inside into turn 8. He's got the inside line. You've got to fancy this for an opportunity to get through, and there he is, getting to the apex first. Mercury didn't make too much of a hard time over the pass, and there you see exactly why Mercury did that, and that was to make sure that he got into the pits, because you fight too hard, you can miss your pit entry and screw your strategy right up. That was a good move for Chaotica in fourth. Donny Time's now in fifth place. Floody, popular driver, in sixth place right now for the Team Puma Porsches. Where is Comer Copa right now? He has the tricolor on the Scuderia Ferrari. Have we seen this one before, this livery? Yes, we have, but Team Special K Racing faded black to red. There's a little Easter egg there for Webbo comms fans as well, near the rear wheel at the lower end of the wheel arch. Had to have a look at that one, and he did know exactly what he was doing to get that up screen time there. But I'm here for it, let's say. Glovas is in 10th and chasing down Badrock Jones, taking a different line there through turn 7. Should get a great run here in the Mountain Dew Pitch Black car. trying to get that apex line, and through he goes. Another smooth manoeuvre from M. Glovers. What else would you expect from your reigning champion? Up to P9 at the moment, but frankly, I think he's feeling the pressure here of wearing that World Championship. It is Badrock Jones in 10th position, and he's in different livery here for Team Puma Porsche. Let's have a better look at that one. Forgive the camera work, excuse me. Just want to make sure we get a good look at the new camera work, at the new livery for the Porsche Puma. Very nice indeed. Nice work, designer. Dirksey, having just pitted onto the hard tyre, full tank of fuel, is now in 10th place in the Evian Renault. Mercury just behind him, and they will continue to battle here. But we have got, I think, for ourselves a decent run. Let's just check in with our leaders. They are catching, or have just caught, I think, surely not to lap. No, indeed. It is now the safety car lap 17. That is exactly what's happened. So it's closed the gaps right up. Those 17 laps just absolutely flew by. I was not watching my lap counter, but Arcane has come out of the pits. This then is how things look at this stage. Zen in first, Nismo in second position for the Spotify team. There is another Spotify car just ahead though. So Spotify first and second. We have Berman for Team Zin in third place. Very happy to have recaught this group at the front, but can he hang on to them on older hard tyres at this stage? We've got Chaotica in fourth, and Berman and Floody now pit, so that will change the order, of course. Chaotica is in third position in the all-pink car 24. Karma Copa in fourth position. As I mentioned, no mean feat for Commentator racing in the VR system, PSVR2. Dirksey in the Evian Renault in P5, and Mercury is up to P6, session host, all-round admin of the league, and safety car driver usually for the GT4s that'll be coming up shortly on this channel after this race. We have 37 minutes remaining. We have Don't Need Time in 7th position in the second Renault, prior to those pit stops at least. Glovers is in 8th with Berman having just emerged from the pits on new medium tyres. Full tank of fuel again for Berman. You just don't want to be in a situation where you run the car heavy for too long, really, through these race cycles. Preston is in 10th. Camzilla started in 3rd place. Has the lead of the championship at this early stage, is in 11th place right now, but thankfully with the safety car, that early error is almost erased in time. But of course the field spread will start to build the minute we go green. Floody is in 12th with Badrock Jones in 13th place, and then we have of course Arcane in our Hellcat safety car. Sun setting quite aggressively now. The lights are still on Arcane's car. So let me know your pick for, let's say who's going to get the win over Zen and Nismo, and who is going to be the final driver on the podium. This would be a great time to put in your predictions. Chaotica running in third at the moment, would be the favourite on new medium tyres. Well, I say new, they're actually pretty heavily used medium tyres. Safety car is in. We're going to go green at the line, and on lap 18 the cars will now be able to get underway. No doubt about when we go to green. Chaotica goes as soon as he's able on the line, and we've got a manoeuvre coming on here. Who is that? Having a look. Well, it's Don't Need Time on the outside. It looked like it was Glovas trying his best to get through. Glovas still on the inside now of turn 2. Should have the shorter run out to the straight between himself and turn 3, but Don't Need Time hung on beautifully around the outside there. Now he tucks into the apex. Glovas could have a little look on a late apex. A little bit of contact there, I think, on the way into turn 4, trying to find some room on the racetrack. Didn't feel like he was given enough racing room, and he probably felt from his perspective that he was alongside. But Don't Need Time holds on to 7th place. Dirksey in 5th. It's cork in the bottle here, I think, for these midfield runners, because they all look like they're very impatient to get a sniff of a podium. Zen leads Nismo and Chaotica. Comacopa's a little bit on his own out there in 4th place. Was that Chaotica just wiggling around mid-corner? I think it was. I think those mediums. I wonder if he will regret not taking that pit stop during the previous sequence. We've just got a car off the circuit. Who was that? Don't think it was Badrock Jones. Someone just lost a lot of time though, coming out of turn 8. Oh, and Floody is skidding through. Cold hard tyres, still struggling into that previous turn. Well, we've got some great racing happening in the fight for the middle order points here. This is Glovas still trying to get through past Don't Need Time, who has outbraked himself, I think, into turn 4. Berman goes around the outside, Glovas down the inside, and Don't Need Time down 2 positions from the previous corner. He's still fighting his Don't Need Time. Round the outside he goes. Berman just struggling for grip a little bit, I think. But no real reason why that would be in terms of tyres. But Preston is in 10th. Berman just finding some room now, but Don't Need Time is ahead in 8th place. We've got Preston versus Camzilla. The Mazda having to go the long way around the outside. He brakes early to try and tuck in, but of course Preston was at full throttle until that point. Camzilla, for Team Zin, has got CrowdStrike written on the car. Let's hope we don't suffer a kind of mechanical full-on failure from CrowdStrike. Down the inside from Camzilla, nice manoeuvre. That was done on the brakes into turn 1, but some of the effort was produced from his line through the final corner, turn 8. Here we go, down into the inside for Camzilla, and it was easy by the time he got there. Anatol telling me the Mazda RX gets a lot of wheel spin. So Camzilla in 10th, Berman in 9th, but not for long it doesn't look like, as he's fighting Don't Need Time now. Don't Need Time has been playing a defensive game for several laps here. Still a long way to go in our race. Zen leads Nismo with Comacopa in that 3rd position. But lots of action here over the lower order points. Don't Need Time sparking his way on the approach to turn 7. Berman very late on the brakes. Almost had to take avoiding action on Don't Need Time. Different lines caused by the driving styles, but also the way the cars are handling and the current tyre compound that they're on. Look like Berman again, very, very late, able to brake so much later than Don't Need Time. Big difference in tyre compound, but not for long. Was that a hint of bit of a nudge there from Berman? Both drivers losing some momentum. Camzilla will be hoping to take the opportunity here as they go side by side into turn 3. Don't Need Time in onto the dirt slightly, but Berman around the outside trying to cut back. Don't Need Time still hanging on here, and I wonder if Team Zin will decide that perhaps Camzilla could do with a shot here at Don't Need Time's 8th position, try and get both cars ahead. But that is definitely going to be down to S. Berman to allow that to happen. At the moment, I think S. Berman feels pretty safe that Camzilla, being his teammate, isn't going to have a go into the corner. Here we go, still trying to get that inside line. Don't Need Time is hot on the throttle and just taking his eye off the exit of the corner. Puts 2 wheels out and has just made it incredibly easy. Camzilla getting a great run here. He might go down the inside into turn 1, you know. They made that harder than they needed to, and has that cost S. Berman now, as Don't Need Time is going to try and follow Camzilla through. It looks like Cam giving the place back to Berman, and Don't Need Time still trying to find a way through now. Looking great here for our race. Looks like Glovas again trying to make the manoeuvres stick. Dirksey in 6th is trying to get on the case here to nab Mercury's 5th. We've got Chaotica in 4th, and it is looking incredibly chaotic for that battle all the way down, I think, to P11 or 12 side by side run Dirksy and Chaotica. Dirksy is trying to get that inside line. Glovas is doing the same thing. Are they going to manage to both get through past? They are, because that cost Chaotica hugely. But look at his front left tyre. It is way past its sell-by date. He's absolutely mullered round the final corner as the drivers go sand across through the next one. Looks like Camzilla wasn't headed to pit lane. Chaotica and Comacopa absolutely were. Up at the front, the gap is 2.7 seconds now. Nismo starting to reel in Zen since the last pit stop. Back on the hard tyre together. The hard tyre is absolutely the favoured tyre, it seems, here around Willow Springs. Mercury has found his way into third thanks to the pit stops. Dirksy still defending, this time from Glovas, with Berman just behind him. Brilliant racing. I was not expecting quite such elongated battles with multiple cars here around Willow Springs. I thought it was the kind of track that is likely to aid field spread, but it does look like we've been spoiled so far. So this is Mercury third, Dirksy fourth, Glovas, our reigning champ, in fifth place, with Berman in sixth. Berman, though, quite keen to have a look. He's got the inside line into turn 8. This should be a slam dunk for Berman, but Glovas just crowds him out at the apex without contact, and that helps don't need time to go back past Berman. Berman is going to be sick to his stomach to see that happen. He turned attack into ineffective defence, and we saw that earlier on with Chaotica. You just get offline and you lose a little bit of momentum, and several cars come through passing you. Floody is challenging Berman. Berman turns that into an attack on Don't Need Time down the inside of turn 2. Don't Need Time holds on to the apex of turn 3, but Berman much later on the brakes on the medium tyres and just getting back in front. Don't Need Time just needs some patience here. Don't Need Time do need patience, I should say, as he's just hanging on. Oh, and that's a big spin further back. That was Badrock Jones. Let's have a look at that in further detail, shall we? As he, perhaps distracted by the entertainment happening in front of him, he was already sideways heading in. That was Preston off the circuit, reappearing on the circuit in the middle of Badrock Jones's experience. No, it was Preston who had the issue. Excuse me, it was Camzilla. It was Camzilla who had the problem, and a second big spin from Cam. He'll be gutted to have seen that, if you'll forgive the British expression. But yes, Camzilla upset, I'm sure, at himself there. Dirksy trying to nab that final podium position. Looks like Zen and Nismo are going to have this one all to themselves today. If they can just prevent any major off-track incidents. Dirksy just tiptoeing around the outside of Mercury, just praying that Mercury doesn't understeer or misjudge his braking zone, which is always the problem when you try and attack around the outside. Not that drivers ever understeer deliberately, of course. It's always an accident if they misjudge their braking and they're at the apex of the corner first. But Mercury's in third place, Dirksy's in fourth, and look at this tremendous battle with fifth and sixth place Berman and Don't Need Time right hot on their heels and waiting to pounce on any mistake. Dirksy then, hard tyres, Mercury hard tyres, but the front left about to tap out here. He's off on the exit of the circuit. Surely into the pits we go. So this six-way battle becomes a five-way battle. Dirksy has to hold on here with Don't Need Time going down the inside of Berman. What a fantastic run they've both had. As Anatol says, they're making the track seem wider than it really is. Definitely, they are doing some tremendous driving here, these guys. And it has been thoroughly entertaining. 25 minutes to go here. We've had 27 laps overall. These are the GT3s. We will have the GT4 World Challenge after this race, and a hopefully 5-minute break in between. Don't Need Time is in fourth, Berman in fifth place, just about, and Floody now for the Puma Porsche, chasing down that fifth place just behind, and behind him is the Mountain Dew car of M. Globas. Berman the aggressor now this time, and has he got the inside line against Don't Need Time, who is making an absolute art form of braking late to the apex of turn 8. Looks like he just got a little tag on the rear right wheel, and it's cost both himself and Berman time. It looks like Dirksey having a smoother run. Floody is sneakily trying to get the toe here on the back of Berman, who gets through into third place. That's because our leaders, Nismo at least, has just pitted. So Nismo going for the undercut up against Zen. He's trying to do something different here, get on the good tyres, put in the good laps, and get his nose and hopefully tail ahead after Zen pits. There's Floody off the circuit in a big way. Wow, absolutely getting airtime through the sand, missing the Marshall post and just rescuing it. That was spectacular from Floody, and unfortunately performs a 180 coming on out of the next corner. Round the outside we go, on board with him, and we just get two wheels out. Tyres are dirty, snaps to the left, misses the Marshall, jumps the circuit, and then as we try to rejoin, rear wheel drive just spinning the car out, unfortunately for him. So he's down to 8th position. Let's find out where is Nismo right now. Out on the circuit on fresh medium tyres, didn't brim the tank of fuel. So he's starting to plan for his final stint now. Starting to think about this like a chess match. Zen not in the pits. So Nismo's gap to the leader, 4 seconds only. Now where did they lose so much time, the two leaders? Was it just passing this group maybe? I think it was. Nismo decided that rather than lose time behind drivers fighting as they go to lap them, I think Nismo deciding here to press and get on the good tyres as early as possible. Down the inside he goes against Don't Need Time. I don't know where these gaps disappeared from. They were much larger than this. Nismo out on the sand and a spin. That is a 180. He's now trying to regather the car. He's getting further and further off the racetrack. Be a good 30 yards off the racetrack there, trying to wind this back in, and unfortunately trying to make the overtake. It has cost him, and it could well be that just opens the door now for a convincing Zen win. He is 5 seconds ahead. He's out on new tyres. Looks like he's already managed that pit stop very nicely. He's also running shorter fueled than Nismo. Dirksey is in second place, and you have to say, holding on really well, and he could now be on for second if this works out well enough for him. It's lap 30. He has maybe one decent lap left on the tyres, on his hard tyres, and just about 21 minutes remaining. So can he pit for a set of hards and finish the race, or is this high deg Big Willows configuration going to mean 2 further pit stops for Dirksey? I would imagine Zen is going to get 1 more pit stop home. Dirksey in second, Don't Need Time in third, and now the gaps have opened out. Bad Rod Jones has managed to get himself up to 4th position thanks to those other pit stops happening. Nismo is back to try and attack a driver. He's hot on the heels of Commentator now, and the Spotify P2 as was, now P6, trying to get away through past Team Special K's Ferrari. Nismo has the better grip. He's on new medium tyres. Dirksey now pits from second, so does Don't Need Time from third. Bad Rock Jones out of sync, but he's into the pits as well. And now surely Nismo with the run here on Commentator. Nismo's going to get back to second place on the road. Here he is down the inside. I think Commentator knows his battle today is not with Nismo, and maybe he could learn a thing or two about the lines through the next few corners from the Lamborghini in front of him. Commentator in that P3 now, and with a nice healthy gap, good condition hard tyres, should be able to run the mediums at the last phase of the race, I feel. and that will be a very nice position for Commentator. Could be on here for third, potentially, but behind them is another strong battle. Chaotica in fourth, Mercury in fifth, and the champ Glovas in sixth place. Mercury just getting too much grip into turn 6, drops a wheel into the dirt, could hurt him through turn 7, but it looks like Glovas hasn't been able to get a good enough slipstream on the long run down to this incredibly long turn 8. I don't know if the official corner numbers number this more generously, but I'm going to go with 8 turns for Big Willow. Mercury in that 5th place has only a 0.3 of a second gap ahead of Glovas, who is chasing him down. Let's join Glovas on board, shall we? And that was a mistake right at the crucial moment from Mercury. From Chaotica it was, wasn't it? No, it was Mercury who's dropped down. So Mercury drops down the order and makes it incredibly easy, despite the fact that Glovas was already going for the manoeuvre. Made it very easy for him. Mercury dropping to 6th place. Chaotica is in 4th, and the order swaps around once again. Commentator on the hard tyre, comfortably in 3rd position at the moment. This battle is some 28 seconds from the lead, held by Zen. Nismo in 2nd place, but having had that big off-track excursion, not only does he lose time to Zen, but he loses the ability to apply the pressure to Zen. And Zen can now cruise on these towards this final quarter of the race. He can now cruise unpressured, and that should, in theory, result in fewer chances of mistakes. Anatol's going with 9 turns. Okay, fair enough. So I think we're calling the final loop 2 turns, are we? The flat out turn 8 and the tightening braking while trail braking into turn 9. Okay, fair enough. So this the battle for 4th. Mercury just being gapped slightly here as his left front hard tyre starts to go. Preston is headed towards the pit lane with 17 minutes to go. He's flashing red with fuel. He's fairly low on his medium tyre as well, but it'll be the fuel that forces the pit stop, I think, on this lap. Dirksey, look how busy this racetrack is. Dirksey's in 8th. Don't need time in 9th position. The 2 Evian Renaults in 8th and 9th now. But I think hoping to make it to the end right now. Both on hard tyres, both generously filled with fuel. Berman is on the mediums, and he's in 10th place. And I think he won't be too happy about where he is right now. Cam, also for Team Zin, in 11th. But he's on the hard tyre. The car screams on through. Preston is in the pits and is dropping down the order there for Mountain Dew. Floody in 11th for the Puma Porsches. Comes through into turn 1. His lap 34, this is. He's 48 seconds away from the leader. The fastest lap lies with Nismo at 1:12.2. Many of the drivers during qualifying would have been very happy with a qualifying lap of 1:12.2. As it was an 11.3, I want to say, for pole position. Badrock Jones running 12th place. Preston now then at the tail of the field. Badrock should be fueled and tired to a finish as well. Zen's lead is 21 seconds in the white text Team Spotify Lamborghini Huracan. And he is just not troubling his own times too much at the moment. Nismo has a lot of work to do, and he's got a pit stop still to make. So has Zen, but Nismo chewing away that front left like we've seen several drivers end up doing. We have one driver in the pits. It's Chaotica refueling to the finish now. 15 to go. 15 minutes, that is, not 15 laps. It'll be fewer than 15 laps to go in the end. But at this stage of the race, the gaps have opened up quite generously, but I do expect them to narrow down again once the final pit stops have been made. I can see Commentator headed towards the pit lane soon. His lap time, previous lap time, at 1:14.7. His best, a 14.1. He's on the hard tyre. He's low on fuel. And the question now is, with about 14 minutes to go once you reach the pit lane, will you have enough tyres if you stop for medium tyres now, or is it better to go for one more really difficult lap on the hards? Well, that's what he's voting for. One more lap on the hards, run this to the absolute empty point on the fuel and put in as little fuel as you possibly can. Nismo's back in the pits then for his final stop. I think he's fitting mediums, but I will confirm that. No, he's gone out on the hard tyres. He's not confident of the mediums managing 13 minutes 47. Anatol saying this track is probably awesome on VR. I bet it is. I've seen a few VR laps around different circuits of the world. Can't say I've seen Willow Springs, but the VR system, for me, when I used to race VR on my PS4, VR was the most immersive thing to race with. Far more immersive than using a steering wheel and rig. I used to find it, if I was holding a controller, I was still feeling far more sensation of speed in the VR helmet. There's a nice battle developing down here for, I think that's 7th place. Cam is, I think he might have just passed Floody actually. Let's just check out, see if we can't find that again. No. If it got done, it got done slightly too far away from our replay gap. Commentator pits from 2nd, Glovas pits from 3rd. Both of them will need to fuel, but Commentator will need a lot more fuel than Glovas will. Glovas, he is just fueling now, so Commentator is being very, very safe with his fuel. He's brimmed the tank, 100% fuel, with 12.5 minutes to go and hard tyres. Another driver not taking the medium with just the final stint of this race to go. Commentator taking no chances, I think. He's in 7th place. Glovas in 8th with Badrock Jones in 9th, but Commentator fueled and tired to a finish. Special K number 72 was on the podium. Will we see him on the podium at the end of the race? Zen pits and is fueling up. Dirksy's promoted to 2nd. Nismo is nibbling away at that rear quarter. He's just got the overlap as Nismo should get down to the apex first. And I think Nismo could be slightly in trouble at the end of the race on that front left. He is incredibly aggressive on that front left tyre. Especially compared with Zen, who's in the same car. I just feel like the Lambo is a tough car on its tyres at the best of times, but Nismo really leaning harder on his tyre. The gap then at the front opening to 24.3 seconds. Finally, Zen, we have a car on the medium tyres to finish with 11 minutes just over to go. Zen has gone for the mediums, just underlining his advantage right now. Dirksy in 3rd place, has been just passed by Nismo. Dirksy could get this car to a finish. I think it's Dirksy who's going to be having a very cagey last few laps if he does try. Don't Need Time is in that 4th place. I think he'll take 4th today after all of the battling he's done. Cam's in 5th. Cam will pit before the end. Don't Need Time, I would imagine will pit, but it's going to be not exactly plan A in terms of pit strategy, I feel, for Don't Need Time. The safety car timing really does throw the driver's strategies up in the air. Here is Glovas down the inside into turn 8 against Commentator. Is that way round, or is it Glovas defending from Commentator? Let's have a better look, shall we? It is Glovas on the aggressive side, heading in back for another slipstream, catches the toe and dives down the inside into turn 8. through to turn 9 to finish. And Glovis is in 6th. Commentator might be ruining having not fitted those medium tyres for the finish here. So he's fighting now with the champ, and he's going to try and get that podium back, but it looks like it's unravelling for Commentator at this stage, unfortunately. And if that is the case, he will probably take the Webbo comms sticker off the car. If you do want to add Webbo comms, you can just search Webbo in the assets and you'll find a few stickers. Try to make them humorous or racing style anyway. Commentator is in 7th, trying to get this position back, 40.4 seconds away from the lead of the race at the moment. Who else is battling? It's just those two really at this stage, Glovis and Commentator. Dirksey pits though, Dirksey pits, so he's going to drop down, so is Camzilla. That's going to be 2 positions, I think, for Commentator and Glovis. There is Glovis. He's now in 3rd position, so this is the battle for the podium, as was the hot air balloon riders wave on the cars underneath. 8 minutes 20 left on the clock. Zen leads Nismo, but ahead of this battle, Glovis and Commentator. Glovis taking a very tight line into turn 3, especially compared with the Scuderia Ferrari of Commentator. Has an Italian flag down the centre line of the car, possibly a French flag on the dummy window, and a US flag on the right side, so lots of different nationalities being represented here on the car. It's Commentator in 4th place, Chaotica is in 5th, Dirksey out of the pits and out on the medium tyre, short fueled of course for the remaining 7.5 minutes, and on medium tyres, hoping then to regain that podium position. Preston, from the back of the grid earlier on, is now in 7th place. Don't need time in 8th. Mercury in 9th. Then we've got Camzilla chasing those two down as Mercury is catching. Don't need time. Badrock Jones in for his final pit stop. Behind this group, we've got Floody in 11th and Berman down in 12th. Must have had another problem, Berman. He's on the medium tyre. He's going to be limping home on that tyre. And Badrock 1 minute 10 away from the lead. That is Zen just about to catch him and save him from finishing the race, I think, on an extra lap. Oh, Badrock, I think maybe keeping an eye on the stopwatch and looking at the gap makes life very, very easy for Zen, who makes the pass. Nismo will be the next one to him, but he is some 26 seconds back. Zen has been peerless today, frankly. Certainly after the first pit stop phase, he's been incredibly good. Can Glovis hold on here to get back onto the podium after a break, with Commentator in 4th, Chaotica in 5th. This is going to be a key battle to the end of the race. Zen and Nismo pretty much decided. 6 minutes to go on the clock. And Commentator had the pace while he was driving on his own. Now he's got a big challenge to overtake Iron Lynx coloured Glovis. Sorry, no, not Iron Lynx. He's in the Mountain Dew car, isn't he? The pitch black Mountain Dew flavour. There it is in the Chevy. A very good race car, the Chevy. And Glovis is maximising its potential right now. However, it is Big Willow. Just a wheel off onto the sand. We've seen how much that can turn a racing driver's day around. We have got the gaps closing up here as the different tyre strategies and fuel strategies converge right at the end of our race. Let's just check. So Anatol only predicted Zen as being the winner. No further predictions for that podium. I don't know how many people would have chosen Glovis, where his position was at the safety car anyway, but cream rises to the top, as they say. Chaotica has Dirksy a little bit ragged, but catching him in 6th place. Dirksy, remember, I think Dirksy on those medium tyres. I'm hoping to tick off another couple passes before the end of the race. He's got to get on with it though. He's got good grip at the moment, but he's spoiling it by putting a wheel off into the dirt from time to time. He's treading that fine line between pushing and keeping the tyre in the operating window. P6 for Dirksy. Looks like the sting of Komakopa's attack has gone, so he might be settling for 4th. And maybe that's the wisest choice at this stage, with the medium shod Dirksy closing in. It's lap 43. We have 4 minutes to go in the GT3 World Challenge. Don't forget, coming up on the channel, if you're watching with us live, the GT4 World Challenge very shortly after this. Lap 44, Dirksy getting closer and closer, 1/3 of a second away only. Who is that in the pits at this stage? That is a very late pit stop for Preston, and he's come out on the soft tyres for the remaining 2 laps, I think, for himself. Zen leads by 28.5 seconds. Glovas is in 3rd, 2.4 seconds ahead of Komakopa, but it's Chaotica in 5th, Dirksy in 6th, where the big change, I think, is going to come before the end of the race. We're about to hit 3 minutes to go. It's a 1 minute 13-ish, 14-ish lap at the moment. Anatol saying, going for fastest lap for Preston. It's a good call, Anatol. I think his tyres were dead anyway. Arcane saying exactly the same thing. Arcane looking up from his safety car cockpit. Unless he's practicing for the next for the race in the GT4s. Here he is, Dirksy then. This is a good run. He's 1/4 of a second, he's 2/10. He's now 1.5 tenths of a second away. Now it's time for Chaotica to go defensive into turn 1. Will that open the door to the apex of turn 2? Well, he's taken an early apex to try and make sure he's on the outside. Chaotica will run through turn 2. Allows the car to go wide for the best line through, but that might welcome Dirksy to make a challenge. 2 minutes on the clock. Dirksy peels to the outside of turn 3 for the braking zone. Chaotica sees him coming and closes the door to the next switchback move into turn 4. So this is going to be a fascinating run. Chaotica just needs to not make a mistake and hold on to the middle line, even if that means scrubbing a little bit of speed and losing out to the battle for Komakopa in front. This is all about holding on now for Chaotica. 1 minute 36 on the clock as your race leader crosses the line to start his lap 46 with 1:28 on the clock. That might mean he has a lap of honour to himself. Let's see. Oh, falling off the racetrack goes Chaotica. That was heartbreaking for him. He is trying to hold on. This is the replay then. And it's you just saw the rear just twitch out for him as he tries to trail brake into the corner. His front left is almost dead. And it's just a long, slow, embarrassing trip out onto the sand for Chaotica. That is awful for him. It's great for Dirksy. Dirksy then up to 5th place and might have an outside shot here at a bid for the corner. Arcane saying it was the wind. The wind was probably the same for everybody, Arcane, but yes, it can gust. It's not too strong, 3.1 meters per second. Would be a crosswind as they are getting the cars into the final part of the corner. Glovas is 1.4 seconds ahead of Komakopa for 3rd place, but Zen is coming through here in P1. I think we're about to see, are we, some drivers close out their race. It is 3rd position. There are 8 seconds to go here for Glovas. Can he clear the line, or will he see the checkered flag now? It is the checkered flag. It is 3rd place for Glovas. It is 4th for Commentator and 5th for Dirksey. Don't Need Time comes through in that 6th place. Floody on his own at the moment then in the Porsche for 7th. Preston comes over in 8th. We have no new fastest lap for Preston that lap. It's still with Nismo and a 12.2. Chaotica in 9th. Could have been so much more. Mercury sliding through the final corner. Berman pushing incredibly hard. Well, he bumped draft to the line. He might even get him, you know. Here they come to the line between Mercury and Berman. And it was 45 thousandths of a second, I should say. 0.045 between the two of them. Camzilla in 12th. Badrock Jones in 13th. Zen has crossed the line. Zen wins in Willow Springs for round 2 of the championship. Nismo some 29 seconds away, and Glovas further back, nearly 50 seconds, had just cleared the finish line before the hour elapsed. Glovas will be the final car across the line, but Zen is your winner, and frankly, the Spotify Lamborghinis are looking very, very good. So celebrating the win is Zen for car 83. He's gained a place from his qualifying position, get a clean race award as well. That's going to help him out no end as we look for the results. Zen in the Huracan from 2015 wins the race, and he just lost out on the fastest lap by a tiny margin, 31 thousandths of a second from Nismo, his teammate, who came in 2nd place. Just one big mistake, I think, for Nismo versus Zen, but they were close early on. Glovas in 3rd. He'll be pleased to get back onto the podium after a rough race 1 in the championship. Commentator's in 4th with Dirksey 5th. Don't Need Time in 6th. Floody in 7th. Preston is in 8th place. We have Chaotica in 9th. Mercury in 10th. Berman in 11th, Camzilla in 12th, and Badrock Jones in that 13th position. As I say, though, it's time in a few moments' time for the GT4 World Challenge. Hope to see you there. But for now, from Deviant Racing League and here on the channel, Webbo, thanks for watching. We will catch you on the next race day.